Are you an international entrepreneur thinking about moving to a place like Dubai to lower your income taxes? It's a very popular move right now. I work with clients every single day who are leaving countries like Australia, the UK and different parts of Europe because they are tired of paying extremely high taxes and want to move somewhere with very low or even zero taxes like Dubai. But before you open a local UAE or Dubai company, I really recommend you watch this video. I want to share some real-world lessons and patterns I've seen from working with so many people who have already made this move. I'll also walk you through some alternative options that you may not have considered, along with the risk, the downsides and what to avoid if your goal is to legally pay low or no taxes. Let's say you are in the UK, you are paying close to 50% in tax and you are worried about future exit taxes and you are thinking, I'll just move to Dubai and pay no tax. On the surface that sounds simple, but there are a few important things you need to understand first. Number one, Dubai does have a 9% corporate tax. There are still jurisdictions in the world with zero corporate tax, so that's something you should factor in. And on top of that, once you move, you're no longer getting paid into a UK or Australian bank account. You need to open banking in Dubai, set up payment processing there and deal with local compliance. And for some people, depending on the industry, that can be more complicated than they expect. And again, you are dealing with the 9% corporate tax, ongoing compliance and relatively high costs to maintain a Dubai company. A lot of global mobility and flex theory people talk about living in one place, banking in another and investing somewhere else, and there's a lot of truth to that. In many cases, separating where you live from where your business and banking are based can actually give you more flexibility and fewer problems. One of the issues with running everything through a Dubai company is that depending on what you do, operating the business can be more complex. That's not always a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of. So Dubai companies are also not cheap to maintain and the compliance burden has increased over the years. And what we have been helping a lot of clients instead is set up US LLC. So if you are not a US resident and you are living in a place like Dubai, a properly structured US LLC can be extremely powerful for service businesses and many e-commerce businesses. You can operate with no US income tax if it's done correctly. You get US banking, US credit card processing and access to all the major platforms. It's easier to work with US advertisers, run Facebook ads, YouTube ads and generally scale a global business because so much of the online infrastructure is US based. You can run the business through the US LLC and then send money to Dubai for your personal living expenses. Now, one concern people always raise is permanent establishment. They ask, if I'm living in Dubai and managing the company, doesn't that mean the company is managed from Dubai and therefore taxable there? That is a valid risk and it's something that needs to be thought through carefully. In countries with income tax, this can absolutely be an issue. But when you live in a country with no personal income tax, the risk often becomes much less relevant in practice. For example, in places like Panama, if you are a resident there and your clients are outside the country, you generally don't pay tax locally, and Dubai has its own rules, and technically a foreign company managed from Dubai could be subject to tax, but how that's enforced, how it's tracked and how aggressively it's applied is still very unclear in practice. I personally have not seen anyone with a properly structured US LLC actually taxed in Dubai on that income. In many cases, there are also ways to structure management so that it's not considered fully managed from Dubai. For example, having a manager outside the UAE or making sure that decision making doesn't exclusively happen while you are physically in the country. And realistically, most people who live in Dubai don't spend all 12 months there anyway. Using a US LLC gives you several advantages. Your money is outside Dubai, you are operating in US dollars, and you have access to a much wider financial ecosystem. And one of the big things we help with is banking. We get the company set up, obtain the EIN, and introduce clients to multiple banking options. And this is important because using a UAE address alone can make it harder to obtain certain fintech or international accounts. I'm bringing this up because I see the same pattern over and over again. People move to Dubai, set up a local company, and then a year or two later, they come to me and say, Marius, I'm tired of the 9% corporate tax. I'm tired of the compliance. I'm tired of the costs. Can you help me set up an LLC? At that point, of course, we help them, but ideally, I want people to think about these options before they rush into setting up everything in Dubai. So many clients simply own the LLC directly, they operate through it, and then they transfer money from the US LLC to their personal Dubai account. That's how they live, spend, and avoid the Dubai corporate tax. I haven't seen clients challenge on the structure, especially since these LLCs are private, ownership isn't public, and information sharing is very limited. The upside is huge. You get US dollar banking, easier access to global clients, and a setup that makes sense if you are selling internationally, not just locally in Dubai. So when does a local Dubai company actually make sense? Not just in Dubai, but anywhere with low taxes, be it in Panama, Thailand, Paraguay, and similar places. A local company usually makes sense if you are doing business locally, things like local real estate projects, construction contracts, or running events in the local market. But most people moving from the UK, Australia, or Canada already have clients outside that country, and in those cases, using a US company often gives them much better options. The US market alone has over 300 million consumers, strong payment infrastructure, and a widespread credit card usage. For many online and service businesses, it's simply easier. I strongly recommend getting proper advice if you already have an LLC, are unsure what you need to file each year, are struggling with banking, need better addresses, or want introductions to stronger banking options. You can schedule a free call with me and my team. So I didn't want to make this video overly long, but I wanted to show you that there are alternatives. In many cases, a US LLC is a much easier and more flexible solution than running everything through a local Dubai company. And if you end up having both, that's even better. So redundancy matters. If one account gets shut down, you still have options and your business keeps running. If you need help, you can book a free call through the link in the description. We will walk you through your options, answer your questions, and explain exactly how we help our clients. I hope this video was helpful. Leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one. Bye.